So, thank you very much. I'm going to talk about deployment of robots to war. You see, in recent time, the world rather, the world has experienced significant development, growth, and improvement in robots and artificial intelligence. We see machines operating people, machines carrying out a lot of things. Artificial intelligence has really um, attain a significant level of growth and development. 10 years ago, nobody would have believed that machines would be doing what they are doing today. That is the truth. As a matter of fact, machines are already taking over the positions of men. That is the truth. Now, but there's an issue now that we need to talk about, and that issue is the deployment of robots to war. The truth is, in recent time, we have seen how unmanned machines, unmanned drones have recorded significant successes in wars. This has made a lot of countries to decide to say, okay, because of the successes we have recorded by through unmanned deployment of drones, we want to have robots that will take the position of soldiers to go to the war front and fight. Those who have preferred this option have given us what they say are the advantages of deployment of robotic machines, what is popularly called killer robots to war zones. They tell you that robots are not susceptible to emotions, to feelings, etc. That is one. Secondly, they argue about precision. Thirdly, they tell you that um, by deploying robots to war fronts, you are reducing the number of casualties on the part of soldiers or army or military men who go to war. They have tried to give us a lot of reasons why we should key in or buy into why robots should be deployed. However, there are a lot of other problems that deploying these robots to war fronts will cause. We must look at these things from a holistic point of view. We must also look at the other side of the coin. I give you an instance. If you deploy robots to the war front, for instance, how are you sure that these robots you are deploying to the war front will not carry the politics of the country deploying them? You cannot remove politics from global affair. That is the truth. Now, even though these robots are probably unmanned, there's someone at the back end controlling it. There's someone at the back end directing it. There's someone at the back end releasing it. So, can you say that these robots will be without bias? That is one. Secondly, they have argued that robots will reduce the number of casualties. Yes, maybe on the part of the military there will be less casualties, but have they also thought about the issue of armed civilians who would be targeted and probably killed by these robots? A lot of people, because of the insecurity in the world, have decided to take up arms to protect themselves. So, if you take up arms to protect yourself and a robot has been sent to go and target people who are carrying out arms, how will the robot be able to determine who is a criminal and who is a civilian trying to protect himself? That is one. Secondly, there are also issues of human rights abuse by these robots, especially the right to life of certain people. In Nigeria, where I come from, for instance, we have had issues of Boko Haram banditry and other form of insecurity that has bedeviled the country. And in doing this, we have deployed a number of drones, a number of attacks. Sometimes our fighters just go to release bombs and all that. And we have seen how innocent people, women, children, the elderly, and even the youth have been killed because of, first of all, mistaken identity. Second, attacking the wrong communities where you think they are criminals that are hiding. Unfortunately, they become civilians who are running away or who have been displaced from their homes. So, how does the robot, even with humans, you make this mistake? So, how does the robot avoid these mistakes? Thirdly, there are certain principles of humanitarian law that no matter who is involved in war, must abide by. There are certain principles. These robots are not aware. Are they going to be built into the robots, or how do you um, how do you strike a balance? So if you look at it keenly, I'm going to do further research on it. But if you look at it keenly, you discover that the disadvantages of robotic warfare outnumbers and outweighs the advantages. So no matter what we think, no matter what we say, I think we should try as much as we can as a people and as stakeholders in global affairs to see how we can prevent war rather than saying that we want to deploy robots or robotic machines to war. As a matter of fact, the moment you approve the deployment of robotic machines to war, you are now making war so easy to start because people will know that, of course, there are no human casualties on either side in terms of military personnel. They begin to send bombs and other things and robots into to go and fight the war. But at the end of the day, human unarmed civilians, children, women are the major casualties of war. Whether we deploy robots, whether we deploy foot or race soldiers or not. So we must have a rethink about these things. Secondly, or more so, in addition to all what I have said, we must also have countries who are opposed to this robotic warfare form an alignment and come up with a position that they are opposed to it. We must know who these countries are, and the countries must continuously engage with stakeholders, especially the United Nations and other stakeholders across the globe to see how they can fight. I am aware that a lot of organizations, especially in Canada, are trying as much as they can to push their country to take a stance against robotic warfare. I also know that Canada has certain ethics that their military would abide by in terms of war. But I think that is not enough because even the charters that they have made at international level, with the United Nations level, humanitarian law principles and all that, have always not been abided by, and I don't think there has been punitive measures meted out. So we really need to take a stance as a people and oppose the deployment of robots, the deployment of machines, and even applying AI, artificial intelligence, to war, because the counter effect of these deployment is greater than whatever we think are the advantages. Country must, of course, I know that we must look at our sovereignty, we must look at protecting our interests as countries, but at the same time, it is also important that countries look beyond the self and see how the interest of the larger world is protected. If you deploy chemical weapons, for instance, you know how many people will be affected. So we really need to have a rethink of deployment of robots to war zones or to war fronts and see how we can